What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Week 7 Players to Add and Drop video. In this video, I'm going to break down 3 waiver targets, 1 Deep League waiver target, and transition over to 2 must-drop players. Before we jump into this video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and check out the video description to gain access to all of our content channels. Without further ado, let's jump into our must-add and drop players video. Coming in as the first must-add player for Week 7 is Seth Jarvis of the Carolina Hurricanes. It seems like the Hurricanes never fail in developing prospects, and Jarvis is yet another thriving young player for the Canes. Drafted 13th overall in 2020, Jarvis impressed enough last season to finally get a chance at the NHL level. Carolina is one of the few teams who really likes to even out their lines, and this has benefited Jarvis because he's been skating alongside Aho and Svechnikov for the last few games. He's reaped the benefits, scoring 3 goals in his last 3 games, adding to his total of 5 points in 9 games this season. Jarvis is only playing 14 minutes per night, but this is trending upwards as he's seen over 15 minutes and 30 seconds in 3 of the last 4 games. The Carolina top line dominates 5v5 with a 57% Corsi for percentage, so we can expect Jarvis to see some solid production moving forward. Jarvis is definitely a watch and see player, and if he begins to struggle, we can anticipate him moving down the lineup fairly quickly. Moving on to the next must-add player, we have Nicolas Hague of the Vegas Golden Knights. The former 34th overall pick is an exciting young player on a stacked Vegas D-core. Luckily for Hague, Vegas defensemen just can't stay healthy. Martinez is out for the short term, and Theodore has been battling an injury for most of the season. Hague is a solid two-way defenseman with upside in point production and his peripherals. Coming off a decent season in 2020, Hague has raised basically all of his statistics in 2021. His points per 60 are up to 1.7 from 1.1, his shots per 60 are up to 6.1 from 5.6, and finally, his blocks per 60 are up to 5 from 4.6. While all of his per 60 metrics are on the rise, his minutes are also on the rise. Hague is up to over 18 minutes per night from just 16 the year prior, and 3 of his last 5 games he's seen over 20 minutes of ice time. Skating on the top pair with Pietrangelo, Hague should see all the opportunity in the coming weeks to put up points and add some solid peripherals until the other demon from Vegas get healthy and return to the lineup. It's honestly been a while since we've seen a relevant goalie to pick up on waivers, but here we are, and it's time to add Jake Oettinger of the Dallas Stars. Finally, the best goalie for Dallas is back up with the team after starting 10 games in the AHL. Oettinger impressed so much in his first season last year, posting an 11, 8, and 7 record, a .236 goals against average, and a .911 save percentage. For a 21-year-old goalie on a team that struggled immensely last season, Oettinger's stats were actually really good. The Stars' goaltending is all over the place. Between 2 fringe starters in Holtby and Hudobin, Oettinger's path to becoming the number 1 goalie is pretty unlikely unless he continues to play the way he has so far. In his first 3 games, he's 2-0, and he stopped 63 out of 66 total shots. Obviously, his 2021 stats are inflated because of a small sample size, but if Oettinger continues to get starts, he can be an extremely value asset for your fantasy team. Finally, based on a request from my last waiver video, I figured I would add a deep league pickup for this week. Scott Perunovich of the St. Louis Blues should be available in almost all leagues, and he's one of the more exciting defense prospects in the league. Perunovich is a former Hobey Baker winner with Minnesota Duluth, where he put up 40 points in 34 games as a defenseman in his final year. We all had eyes on him in preseason, where he had an extremely strong showing and definitely had a chance at cracking the starting roster. Unfortunately, Perunovich didn't make the team out of camp and was sent to the AHL, where he put up 20 points in 12 games. Keep in mind that he's a defenseman. Well over a point per game, it was clear to the Blues that he belongs in the NHL. St. Louis has recently called him up, and he's currently skating on the power play too and is playing over 18 minutes per night. It might take a month or so for him to get used to the fast pace of the NHL, but Perunovich does have enough upside to justify adding him in your deeper leagues. Alright guys, time to jump over to the must-drop players. We're starting off with Jared Spurgeon of the Minnesota Wild. Spurgeon's off to a bad start, obviously, but really, he didn't impress at all in 2020. Scoring just 7 goals and 25 points in 54 games last season, there were expectations for Spurgeon this year that hopefully he would exceed that production. Unfortunately, Spurgeon's off to a pretty slow start, recording just 8 points in 17 games, while his minutes and peripheral rates are all way down. Spurgeon's playing just over 20 minutes per night, which is a career low and nearly 2 minutes less than his previous 2 seasons. His 4.8 shots per 60, 3.9 blocks per 60, and 2.4 hits per 60 are all below his career average, and as minutes continue to decrease, we can only expect these numbers to worsen. Spurgeon is still playing on the top power play unit, but his lack of production and Minnesota's offensive struggles makes him a drop at this point in the season. As I always say, streaming players can generally be more effective than playing the wait and see game on some players. Minnesota has more than enough competent defensemen who are ready to step up in Spurgeon's place, and if he doesn't find his game soon, his role will quickly diminish. The other player to drop for this week is Alex Radulov of the Dallas Stars. Radulov has seen a steady decline in his career, and more than ever now at age 35. It's unlikely he can turn back the clock like we saw with Pavelski last season, and Radulov's struggles are really starting to show. He's currently slotted on the fourth line, and his minutes are beginning to regress significantly, and over the last 3 games, he's played under 15 minutes in each contest. Radulov has just 1 goal and 7 points in 16 games, while posting an atrocious -7 rating. His 3.4% shooting percentage could see some positive regression soon, but Radulov's shot rate is at the lowest of his career at just 6.2 shots per 60. For a forward, 6.2 shots per 60 is well below the league average, and it's difficult to justify Radulov making some sort of mid to late season push in his offensive production. If he continues to play bottom 6 minutes, Radulov should simply be forgotten about in most leagues and left for either the waiver wire or another fantasy owner to deal with his struggles. Remember guys, if you need advice on ads or drops or anything else fantasy related, make sure you leave a comment and I'll do my best to reply as soon as possible. That'll do it for a must add and must drop players video for week 7. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. As the Fantasy Pod community prepares you for this season, make sure you click our link in our description and check out all of our content channels. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.